Hi guys, today I'm going to talk about the mathematics selective school and a scholarship your program. The idea here is you need a platform that will help your child to perform really well in the selective school test and any of the scholarship tests that you will send your child to. The sole purpose is to find a way into the best your high school. Now, if you have been with a mathematics website for your child to prepare for the OC test or just for the purpose of your growing a higher performance, you would already know so much. And this program is just the extension of what you already saw. Now, it is much easier for those who have completed the mathematics OC program because if your child has done that, you would know how the entire website works and where all the resources are. But not all students have been prepared during year 3 and 4. So it can be a real challenge for many students. Now, some students come to my website for a very short time, and they may be using my website in addition to the tutoring shop that they attend. This can be something new and challenging. I have had students who spend only about 12 weeks on my website, so they didn't have a lot of time, but they managed to do the most important thing, and as a result they got good outcome for the selective test. Now, all right, what I'm going to do is to give you a quick overview of the selective program. So when you first get an account into the group, you will see a message here. It says welcome, and you can set up a sample test. Now, the purpose of a set of sample tests is for me and for you to get a clear idea of the current performance of your child. So by doing a small set of tests and look at the result, you get a pretty good idea. Alright, so you come down a little bit, you will see the short guides. Yes, I have so many written document here, all the guys here, but I suppose that nobody want to read, so that's why I make some videos to help you out. But one thing I recommend is that even if you don't want to read, you should read some of the document. Now, the most important document is the selective school GNT program. Now, the document tell you a lot. It tell you how the program is designed. It gives you a lot of information and tips and template and plan and all sort of things. Okay, so you have so much information. Now, this is really useful if you read it. And part of the program, I have a path here. You see, so it tell you when your program start, and as your child follow the program in certain months of the year, certain test series that should be done, and what you should pay attention, and then to the end, and there will be a selective test around May. Okay, so that gives you a good idea. And among those, you also have, the math problem solving strategy guide, the guide for math, the guide for English, question type and strategies, and the guide for scholarship and a selective writing. So you have very important document there. You got a ton of resources there, but I know, a lot of people just don't want to read. All right, so at the top you have some of the important training modules that I put up there, and if you go into more, you will see all of them. There's a massive number of training modules to help students. If you have watched the video about the OC program, you would have got most of the information. What I suggest is that you probably want to go back to the video about OC and watch it, and you get more information about all of these things. All right, now you have a page called how to. You go in there. Now you see all the video that I made, and they talk about the many things, about how to use a website, support for writing, English, support, mathematics, support, science, and a general knowledge. And for some students who come to this system very late and they don't know what to do, I would suggest that you ask for help, so I can give you information about what should be done. But most of the time they would focus on the 26-week plan. Now if they come late, the 26-week plan give all the details about the sort of work that they have to do. So the idea is that this plan starts 26 weeks away from the date of the selective test, and each of the week the students are given a minimum number of tests that they should do. Now, so if you are not sure what your child should be doing, you just will follow the plan and get all the tests done, and that will guarantee that the most important tests, are done, and then your child would be ready for the selective test. Now, there's a link called the quick link. Quick link here, and you can also access it right here. Now that take you to the page of very important documents. So here you have so many documents that will help. Now you have a section about OC year level year 3 to 4. Now if your child need to revise the OC program, and then you have all the document there, and you have a section for the selective year level. Now in this one you get very important document like math problem solving strategy year 4 to 5 and a math problem solving strategy for year 6 to 7, and then you have a whole section about scholarship and writing. And so you have the guide for writing, and you have many guides for writing here, and you also somewhere here you also have you have a document called the early private school scholarships, and you have another document for the main season of scholarship tests. Now here in New South Wales, some of the private school they offer the test during the second half of year 5. So that's what I call the early year private school scholarship. Now typically they offer the test between August and October of year 5, and then the main season is at the beginning of year 6. It's starting around February of year 6, and it would end about the end of March. So the two documents give you the name of the school and some tips about what the student need to do. Okay, so you do have a lot of guides. The key is that you should spend a bit of time to go through them and read about them, and then you get most of the information that you would need. Now, so I want you to give you an overview. So what the students should be doing. Now, at the beginning of year 5 is the best time for the student to join. And the first activity that I imagine students should be doing is to revise the OC year level. Now, this is at the end of year 4 year level, where the students supposed to be doing the hard year 4 and year 5 work that I prepare for them, so they can sit the OC test. Now the revision of that is really important before they move on to year 6 and year 7 type of material. And so that's for that reason the selective group has certain overlap with the OC year group. So at the beginning you see some of the test series that I have for year 4 is here, and year 5 is here, and at the end of the revision you have the OC year trials. So yes, look at it. The first bit that you see there I highlight is actually the end of the OC year program, and now the students supposed to use that for a quick revision. Now this is really useful for the student who did not prepare for the OC test on my website. They just jump on my website in year 5 and they don't know anything. So I would recommend that they start to do a bit of work at year 4 and year 5 level and do the OC trial. For the student who know my website and prepare for the OC test on my website, this is a good idea to redo some of the things and redo the OC trials. Now many students on my website, even at year 3 and 4, they didn't get to do everything that they should do. So when they get into the selective group at year 5, it's a good time for them to do the revision as well. Okay, now once the revision is done, they will move on and start working on a lot of year 6 stuff. And yeah, so this sort of material, year 6, year 7 here, prepare the student to move toward the selective year trial. The selective trial happened around 12 weeks before the selective test. Now, student can't just go straight to the trial. It's just too hard. So that's why they have to do a lot of work at year 6 year level and some of the work at year 7 year level to prepare them for the trial. Now, so how do you prepare for the selective test? So the step that I designed for the program is that the first thing is that the student have to do the revision for OC year level and redo the OC trials. Now, the next step right after that is to make sure that all year 6 maths all you're covered. And I'm talking about just a few weeks. I'm talking about 4 weeks or 5 weeks. The student have to rapidly cover everything in year 6 maths. Now assume that they have covered everything in year 5 already when they were in year 4. So at the beginning of year 5, they should cover all year 6 maths within 4 weeks. Now the strategy to do that is on my website. All you need to do is go to how to, and you will find there is a video here. It's say getting ahead in mathematics. Okay, so that video will give you an idea how to cover the entire year 6 maths in 4 or 5 weeks. Okay, now once that is done, the student can join a workshop that I have here. It's called the Google Advanced Maths year 5 to 6. Now I say year 5 to 6 to avoid scaring students, but some of the content I put there actually part of year 7 and 8. And more importantly, in this I cover the math problem solving strategies. Now that is really important. Now the design of the program is for 11 weeks, but most of the time I recommend that students cover this thing in about 20 weeks. Now that gives them time to do the thing in a proper way. Now that will take the performance to the level where they can aim to get close to 100% in the selective school math tests. Alright, so that is the strategy for maths. Now for English, they have to improve the performance to a very high level. So they have to be able to score around 90% for year 6, your comprehension, and then move on and score 90% or better for year 7. And then that make it possible for them to attempt some of the really hard stuff like the deep comprehension exercise, and then they can do the mini selective, your English, your boosters. So those are the hard one, and that get them ready for the selective year level. So get ready for the trial. Now, so how do they get to that year level? I have a lot of support for English, and in the training module here you have something called reading skills that train the student, and that is backed up by the AI. Now and I have recommended your reading, so I collect some of the classic books for students to read, but the students are supposed to be reading a lot of books and novels, and then students can access all the things that I have for them, like story time. They can listen to story, your classic tales. They need to improve the general knowledge as well. So, and I also have a module called vocab test, that helps students to learn some advanced vocab. I have a module called advanced words, where students supposed to learn advanced vocab and how to write the sentences using them. I have a module called personal word list. That is for students to collect the word that they don't know in the test that they have done and put it into the personal word list, so they have to study them. So that is all the training and support that they should be doing for comprehension. Now for writing, this is a completely different game altogether, and I have a lot of support for writing right here. story starter, writing planner, read, summarize, and write, where the student read the work done by the adult, and then they summarize the idea, then they rewrite it in their own way. I have word choice assistant with the AI support, so they can actually practice with words and improve their word choice when they write. Have sentence assistant, your paragraph assistant, and I have a special module called your copycat. Now, a copycat is your module that trains students in writing a narrative and write for Cambridge, your selective, your writing style, and also for NSW. Now, this is supported by the AI. So the student, pick a prompt where they work with, and then they can, do the work. They get feedback from the AI, and they can look at the feedback. They can improve their writing, and they can, request a sample, and the AI will generate a good sample for them to read and stuff like that. They can get the work marked, all that. So your copycat is a very powerful training module to help students to prepare their writing for a selective test and for the scholarship test. And I have a selective writing module where there's a lot of prompts that the student can use over and over and over on the same prompt. They can rewrite and they can do all that. So yeah, that's it. Now, for example, if you go into scholarship writing task, if you take it, now you're not given a prompt, you actually given a list of prompts, right? So yeah, so you you can pick any prompt that you want, or you can have the past with scholarship writing prompt, a document that have many prompts, or you can use the NSW writing like prompts. So yeah, this is where the student can practice their writing under strict time, and then the system will do all the marking for student. Yeah, so you have a lot of things. Now there's even support for the student to talk, like the thing. What it does is it convert voice into text, so the student can practice talking, presenting, and things like that, and it will convert into text. And this is a quick way for students to get started. So instead of having to write the story, they can just talk about it, just talk, and that will convert into text, and the AI will assist to clean it up and help the student to be on their way. And so there is a lot of support from the AI to help the student. Okay, so that is the strategy for English. Now for thinking skill, you have the training module right here, your thinking skill, and you have all the video lesson to help the student, and then the student do a big number of tests, so they go through the questions and improve their skill. Now I have the junior level, that is for OC and the senior. Now most of the students who join the selective group actually start with the junior version first, and they work through a lot of work, and then they move on to the senior, and that's how they become really solid in a thinking skill. All right, now so if you think about it, the students start the selective program around the beginning of year 5, and they won't be doing the selective test until around May of year 6. So you have 1.5 years. Now during year 5, it's strongly recommended that the student should be doing a competition, like doing the ICAS, your competition. Now, at least they should be doing the English one, the math competition, and the writing a competition. Yeah. So those are the 3 that I recommend. Now, science is also something that I recommend as well. So here the student have all these tests to prepare them for the science, the competition there. All right, now and then around the same time with ICAS, between August to October, I recommend that student should take a chance to go to the private school and do some scholarship tests. Now, these early tests are mainly for the girls because it's the only school that take boy and girl in Sydney around that time is Barker, and the rest of them are all girls. So yes, so the girls have a lot more chance there to sit the early scholarship test. So that is an overview of the whole program. One particular thing that I find really important today is writing. Now, the writing component in the selective test is now worth 25%. This is the same way comparing to reading and thinking skill and math. So students today have to put a bit more effort into writing. Now, for students who want to do scholarship tests, writing is so important because this is a component that the private school pay attention to. They really, want to look at the writing score. Now, generally, to be able to get an interview after sitting the test, the student need to get into like the top 4% in most of the area, and surely for writing they need to get into the top 4%. Now, if you go to more, you see all the modules here. A lot of them are designed to help the student to write better. I can, point straight out that advanced word is going to be very useful, and then you have the sentence, your assistant. But the most important module for training the student to write for scholarship is called a copycat. Now, the name is a bit one of the important thing that I want to talk about is the case of students who are new. Now, many students who come to my website, you're pretty late, close to the date of the selective test. Now, this is okay. I mean, if you come to the website very late and just want to do the trial, and you already have like your main tutoring somewhere else. But if you come to the website very late and you don't have tutoring somewhere else, what would be the option? Now, one of the things I do for parents is to train mom and dad to help them to tutor their own kids, and so that is a possibility. And those who come late to the website tend to rely on getting a quick assessment to see what the performance, your level is like. So after that, they can work with me on a training. So I can train mom and dad, or in some cases, if I have enough time, I'll be able to give one-on-one your lesson. You will find the feature called the 26-week plan really useful. Now, just by focusing on doing the tests in the plan, the students are guaranteed to do the right thing that they need for the selective test. The other things is about our communication. Now here you find contact. Now you go in there. Now you can install Viber on the mobile phone, and you can scan the code here. Now that will let you join into a group that I will provide support. So that is a quick way to get a message to me and get feedback and that kind of thing. Or you can use the web form to send your messages in. But yeah, the instant messaging using Viber is quick and the best thing. All right, now is there any other feature? Now there's so many things on the website that it will take a long time for you to find all the things, and you can communicate with me and get support and get more ideas and stuff like that. So the purpose of this video is just to give you a quick overview about what you can do. Now for the student who want to do scholarship tests and try to win a scholarship to the top private school, what are the options? Well, just by preparing for the selective test, your child would be on the right track. Now you only need to go a little bit ahead, right? Now there are 2 seasons. The early season is in year 5. That is when the student have to be really ahead. In that case, mom and dad can sort of talk to me, and I will provide a plan. Now for the main scholarship season, it's very close to the time of the selective test, so the student just prepare according to the pace for a selective test, but they need to go a bit quicker. Now the only real difference in scholarship tests relative to the selective test is the thinking paper. The thinking skill paper in the selective test is called the reasoning paper in scholarship test. Now the problem is that the question style are different, and that is the reason why I have all these general ability series. So students should be working on the general ability for grade 5, and then for grade 6, and then they do the mini non-verbal reasoning and the verbal reasoning. And they have the mini selective general ability boosters, and they have the selective general ability trials. Now all those things are essential for the reasoning paper if your child is going to do the AAS scholarship test. For ASA, there is no such reasoning, but you have 2 writing pieces. So writing is very important for scholarship. Now the support for writing on my website is incredible. You go into more, you find a whole column of modules that help students to improve writing. And then you have advanced word support, tense assistance, and you have a lot of things. And you have the selective writing modules, and you go to learn, and you go to student work. Now you can read a lot of writing work written by students in the past. Now you just read all the ones that have the score at 80% or higher. They are good stuff. So get over 80, right? And then you see a whole bunch of things. Yeah, so you can say and you can read. All right, so those are the major features about the selective school and scholarship program. At this level, if you want to go for scholarship tests, you need to contact me and I'll provide the extra support. And also every year I put the strongest student together and form a special group, and I call that group the X class. And every year we manage to win quite a few scholarships. Now that is a separate thing, and that is a special group that I designed to support the student, to target the top of private schools. And if you need more information about that, you can watch a separate video about that, or you just contact me and I'll give you all the information that you need.